Hello students, today we will discuss the distinguish or difference between interference and diffraction. We know about interference that two coherent sources are required. We need two coherent sources to see the interference pattern. Two coherent sources are required. But what about diffraction? We know coherent sources are not needed. Coherent sources are not required. It is not necessary to have coherent sources. Now, what do we know else about these patterns? We know that the bandwidth or fringe width, you can call it, the bandwidth is constant. That is the difference between bright to bright and dark to dark, or maxima to maxima and minima to minima remains constant in interference pattern. But what about diffraction? Bandwidth is not constant. Bandwidth is not constant. What do we know else about them? We know that all bright fringes or bands, you can say, all bright bands have same intensity, right? We know this. They all are going to have same intensity. But in case of diffraction, the intensity decreases. Intensity decreases as the order, when we say order, we mean the number of maxima, first, second, third, and so on, as the order increases. Now, what do we know else about them? That dark fringes or dark bands also, you can say, dark fringes are perfectly black, or perfectly dark, you can say. Perfectly dark. But in case of diffraction, the dark bands or the minima points, the dark fringes or dark bands are not perfectly dark. They are not perfectly dark. Because if you remember, diffraction talked about the shadow. If you remember, we talked about shadow, right? The shadow is not perfect dark, right? But if you get two waves of same amplitude during destructive interference, their amplitude will be cancelled. So resultant intensity at that point becomes 0. That means there will be no light at all. I hope you have understood the distinguish or the difference between interference and diffraction. Thank you.